Domo arigato, everyone. Anonymous here, back with another chapter review of The Black Cat and the Witch's Classroom by Kaneda Yousuke. Today we'll be recapping, discussing Chapter 4, Sorcerers and Sorceresses of the Zodiac. Given in the last few chapters we've really focused on Spica and her hijinks with Claude, this is probably a good chapter to introduce us to the rest of the supposed coven. And we open up with a very beautiful view of Diane, the magical school, in this form of this giant tree that has a witch hat on top. Very cool aesthetics, little back history, and then Spica is walking around viewing the classrooms. Again, being very cute and kind of innocent as she playfully walks around the class or the student body, and we and at least she's not jumping off cliffs here. You could tell this isn't Wednesday because she isn't wearing pink in her school uniform. Uh, Via this conversation with Claude, we learn that Spica is going to need to join a coven, and I'm going to guess that spread that ended the last issue was the rest of the cast. Hopefully, we learn more about them now. Uh, Now, obviously, we get some more hijinks with Spica not wanting to kiss Claude's butt, and then Claude has to run off and talk to the headmistress, who we learned again at the end of last issue that is also his master. Some of the other students don't have some great things to say about Claude. Again, remember in universe he ran away from a battle with the heretics 3 years prior to the beginning of this series. Uh, though it looks like, based on this conversation, it was retconned to 2 years, based on what the headmistress says. Though we shall see if that gets re-retconned later on. And here we have a first meeting of Spica and another classmate. It looks like some girl seems to have dislodged her entire head into the wall. So I think real pausing here real quick. I think we know for a fact Aria Aquarius will be in the coven. Uh, she's a named character. So far, we haven't really spent much time besides Spica and Claude. We know Claude's going to be the trainer because, or the teacher because he can't be away from Spica, and we know Spica's there. So we need to be introduced to 10 more people, either this chapter or next chapter. Uh, so here we have this girl who's stuck, and here we learn that Spica might be a woman of culture with a very interesting viewpoint, kind of enjoying the large assets that this other person has, and even Spica's eyes here notice them. Her name is Io Taurus. Given that Spica's the Virgo, I could assume, again, the coven's made up of 12. There's 12 signs in the zodiac. This is probably number three, so we need uh, 9 more people here the uh, in the coven. So let's keep going. Again, another interaction with a student here, and this guy looks a little creepy, to be honest. Uh, though he immediately turns into a boys love picture here up top. But Spica doesn't really enjoy his company because he finds out that he is a womanizer, and his name's Libra. So there's our Libra, I'm guessing. So that's four. And now here we have looks like a feminine student walking by, and the said womanizer, the Libras, immediately following after him. The vice principal, the one who was in charge of the Golem uh, uh, exhibit a few chapters ago, in chapter 3, really looks, I guess, is Libra's father. So maybe that's why he's allowed to be a little bit more of a womanizer. Uh, but he even assaults this female-ish looking student, who immediately turns around and punches him. Uh, his name is Gemini. So, and that's a kind of, I guess, troublemaker-esque looking man. I'm guessing that has to do with his magical powers. Maybe he can like wish cast and change, what his perception is, people. Uh, and so they clearly don't get along right away. My guess is Gemini didn't like being touched, especially, or being assumed that he was a woman, which is, I don't think any guy wants to ever be considered a woman unless you're trying for that thing. Spica attempts to break up the fight, and then we have a third third person who wants to get into the to the fray, Leo, who again, look at those beautiful thighs. Spica is definitely a woman of culture with checking out those muscular thighs and fangs. Though I do wonder if her sign's the Leo or it's the fact that her mom might be a bobcat or something like that. Uh, and she seems kind of dumb, and considering the fact that she was on the chandelier was to get some attention. But now they all bust out their wands. Spica's freaking out because she doesn't want to fight. Taro seems to be a little bit of a ditz, which is kind of funny considering the other three are ready to go at it. And we get a little action for the chapter. So Libra here is casting some magic called the Eye of Thames, which is allowing him to block or move around so he can dodge any attack while his eyes are closed. Uh, Gemini magic is, for caster Gemini has mirror alignments, which allows him to duplicate. Which again goes back to maybe the fact that his magic is the perception of people. Like people are able to perceive him how they want to be perceived. Libra is a womanizer, so he perceived Gemini as a female. Uh, and then Leo magic, surprisingly enough, made her turn into a cat, both based on this panel, literally. Again, we don't know if she was her power is able to turn into a cat, or her mother might have just been, a mountain lion. She's about to kill, well, maybe not kill him, but really hurt Gemini. And then Spica gets hit by a stray rock. Again, she's kind of a klutz, so it doesn't surprise me that she's accidentally in the fray. Tauros gets angry. Her ditzy personality falls off because Spica helped her out of the wall, and now she's upset that Spica got hurt. And her Tauros magic, I assume it's to make her skin invulnerable, uh, or to make her giant. So she's actually just Ant-Man. That seems kind of lame, given that you think like a bull is the Tauros symbol is hard charging, strong. If they were going to do an X-Men comp, I thought it would be similar to Colossus and indestructible skin or something else that meant sturdy and strong. Uh, so here we have some humor. The other classmates are enjoying the giant girl's skirt, though Libra seems to be enjoying it the most. That embarrassment again, Toro seems to be a little bit of a ditz. It causes her to stand up inside a probably 20-foot ceiling, and she's 25 feet at this point, and knock herself out. And it looks like Spica's about to be crushed by a giant. But again, woman of culture. I can imagine that there's some men watching this right now that might be jealous of that fate. When out of nowhere, Claude looks like he's done with his meeting with the headmistress, and he's uh, able to come and stop the fighting and save the day. He throws them up in the air, makes sure everyone's floating and relaxing, uh, and then tells all five of them that they are in the coven. So again, at this point now we know six. So it's Aquarius plus these five, and Spica thinks that this is going to be an insane next couple 3 years. And we get a little backstory about the conversation with the headmistress. She has selected students with immense potential, but they'll find that they're quite strong-minded. And there'll be 12 students in the covenant. So here we have the other seven, right? Seven. But again, we knew Aquarius was already in there in the bottom left, so really the six. So we have Capricorn, Aries, Pisces, Sagittarius, Cancer, and Cesario is, I think, Scorpio, because that would be the only one that's missing based on the five that are not paneled here, and then the seven here. So, and that so much ends the chapter. The chapter leaves off with Spica being a weirdo, even amongst weirdo, as Claude turns back into a cat. And as she runs out of mana, she doesn't want to kiss his butt in front of all of them. So again, we'll find out what happens next in a couple days as we catch up in this series. If you enjoy this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.